Still setting your lineups next week? We've got you covered. Next on Fantasy Baseball Today in 5. Welcome into FBT in 5. As always, make sure to follow and stream us on Spotify. Today is Friday, September 30th. I am Frank Sanfil, joined by Scotty Dubs, Scott White, and let's take a look at some of these sleeper pitchers that you have for next week. Obviously, no 2-star pitcher, Scott. There's only going to be 3 days left, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Who are some of your favorite matchups?
Yeah, and it's worth pointing out, this obviously doesn't apply to everybody. A lot of leagues are just going to eliminate these 3 days altogether. A lot of other leagues combine them with the last full week for a 10-day scoring period. That's probably the majority of leagues, actually, certainly head-to-head. But if you do have one more chance to set your lineup for the final 3 days, then my favorite pitcher is going to be Hunter Greene. It's been my favorite sleeper pitcher for a few weeks in a row now, and he may not even be that available anymore. But if for some reason he is in your league, he's going against the Cubs, another strikeout-prone team. He's looked great since returning from the IL. So he'd be number one for me. Jose Quintana is facing the Pirates. Now, he wasn't able to continue going deep into games. You know, his previous 2 outings, 6 2/3 innings, 8 innings. In one of them, there were 2 of his 4 longest outings of the year. And then his most recent start, he kind of went back to being a 5-inning pitcher. So you'd rather see him go 6+, of course, but facing the Pirates, you expect the results for Quintana to be good either way. And then Bryce Elder, I should say. I had trouble saying his name on the full-length podcast, too. Bryce Elder of the Braves, he is at Miami. Of course, that's a good matchup. And he's faced them a couple times during this good run he's been on and dominated them both times. Of course, he threw a complete game shutout in his last start against the Nationals and is just on a roll right now, certainly proven he can take advantage of a weak lineup, if nothing else. So those would be my 3 favorites: Hunter Greene, Jose Quintana, Bryce Elder. A few more options for you here. Jack Flaherty, particularly if he looks good over the weekend. He's also facing Pittsburgh in the 3-day scoring period. Patrick Sandoval is at Oakland. And then if you have to go really deep, I don't know that I'd personally be thrilled to start any of these final 3, but they are out there if you need them. They include Marco Gonzalez against the Tigers, Aaron Savale against the Royals, and Michael Lorenzen at the A's.
Hey, Aaron Savale has pitched well, Scott, so I think I can get behind that. Definitely going up against the Kansas City Royals. Some sleeper hitters for next week. These are the teams that we are targeting: the Guardians, the Angels, the Twins, the Mets, the Mariners, and the Blue Jays. Who are the players on those teams, Scott, who might be available?
So Taylor Ward's probably my number one favorite. He's had a huge month of September, looked a lot like he did in April, back before a shoulder injury kind of derailed his season. And yeah, the Angels matchups are really good. They're going against the Athletics. I like his teammate Luis Rengifo for the same reason. He's been pretty good the last 2 months, actually, and very versatile player. So Rengifo could fill in for you in a lot of different spots. Eduardo Escobar of the Mets has had a huge September, has looked a lot better since coming back from an oblique injury. Oscar Gonzalez, he's pretty close to must start, I would say, with the way he's performed recently, the kind of matchups the Guardians have. Let's see, those final 3 games, they're facing the Royals pitching staff, so that works out well for Oscar Gonzalez. Jared Kelenic just had a 2-homer game Thursday. He's been looking pretty good since coming back from the minors, kept the strikeouts under control. And the Mariners, in those final 3 games, they're facing the Tigers. And actually, it's 4 games for them over a 3-game span. Carlos Santana, another Mariners hitter you could consider using. He's been kind of all or nothing, but there have been a few home runs for him recently if you're trying to make up ground there. Let's see, who else? Maybe Whit Merrifield. He's been playing a lot more for the Blue Jays. Jose Miranda, it looked pretty good in September. Nick Gordon, pretty versatile player. More available, I'd say, than Luis Rengifo. So those give you a few options for the final week if you're looking to patch up any holes.
Yeah, Jared Kelenic, Scott, I wanted to highlight him as well. He's played 7 games since returning to the Mariners, and He's batting .296. He's got 3 homers. He's got 3 doubles, and he only has 6 strikeouts during that time. So that's the biggest key for Jared Kelenic, but hopefully he can keep it rolling for the final half week of the season. For more extensive fantasy baseball coverage, listen to the Fantasy Baseball Today podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, your smart speakers, or anywhere else podcasts are found. And thanks for listening to Fantasy Baseball Today in 5. We'll be back again tomorrow morning. Bye-bye.